Okay, now head over to your activity panel and bring in a set form values right after your multiple assign. And the form you want to speak to is still the game engine form. Expand on this to set the arguments. Now for player name, we're going to set this to the player name. So open an expression editor and you want to set this to game request into parentheses, the player name in quotes. And for your score points, you want to expand on this and you want to set this to player score. You want to hit save. You can see you have an error here. You want to switch this to an integer. And for your question, you want to expand on this and you want to set this to question. You hit save. And for your answer options, you want to expand on this, open in expression editor, and you want to set this to answer options. Hit save. You can see we have an error here, and that is because you need to switch this to an array of string to match this variable type. Hit save, Ctrl S to save, and we are good. Okay, next we need to get the player's selected answer. We're gonna do that in a new workflow. So you want to create a new workflow. I'm gonna call it get player selected answer and hit create to create the workflow. And still following our RPA best practice, we're gonna have a sequence and 2 log messages. Next, I'm going to have an assign, and I would love to create a variable. Ctrl K, and I call that variable is submit. Hit enter to create, and I set the value to false. Hit enter. Next, I want to have a do while loop, and in the condition of the do while loop, I want to have this expression. And this is simple. This means take a submit. Remember, a submit is a string. So I am using the function cbool, which means convert to boolean. So I convert the string boolean to an actual boolean. And I'm saying if the result is false, which is what this statement means, if the result is false, then the do while loop should keep running. But if the result is found as true, then the do while loop would exit. I hit save, Ctrl S to save. Now in the body of my do while, I'm going to have a get form values, because while the do while loop is running, I want to get form values from a form, and the form is going to be the same game engine form. Expand on this to set the argument. So I am interested in getting values from the answer options. So I expand on this, open in expression editor, Ctrl K to create a variable called selected answer. And this would grab the value from the answer options property. I hit save. Okay, now on your left hand side, you would see there is no property for the button. So we need to go back to the form to confirm this. Before we revisit the form, let's save out of this and Ctrl S to save. Okay, so I'm going to go to project and I'm going to open up the game engine form. And if you recall, submit button, if you go over to edit, you go to field key and the name of the button, the property name is called submit. So we want to take note of this name, and that was why I emphasize taking note of the names of the property names of this field. So let's head back to our workflow. Now back to our workflow, you want to expand on this and you want to add an entry and you want to call that submit. This should match the property name of the submit button on the form. Now you want to assign that to is submit. It looks good. Save, Ctrl S to save. Okay, make sure you click on your get form values. Now go to variables and you should see selected answer. Right click on this and convert it to an argument, because this should be passed out of this workflow. So I'm going to change the direction to an out. Bring this down, Control S to save. Pretty much everything looks good, and I think we can head back to our game engine. Back to your game engine, you want to go to project, and you should see get player selected answer. You want to drag this right after your set form values here. You want to hit import arguments, expand on this, and you want to set selected answer to a variable on your game engine. Control K. You want to create a variable for that and call it selected answer. Hit enter and save. Control S to save. Now we're going to build a workflow to evaluate our player's answer. So we're going to hit new sequence and we're going to call that workflow evaluate player answer. We're going to hit create. It creates the workflow. Like I said, best practice, you want to have a sequence. And now here we're going to have an if statement. Now head over to the argument panel and create selected answer, make it a direction of in and a type of string. Player score, make it a direction of in and an argument type of integer. Correct answer, make it a direction of in and an argument type of string. I'm going to take this down, Control S to save. Now you're going to expand on this condition here, and in the condition, you're going to say selected answer equals correct answer. You hit save. So when selected answer equals correct answer, what do you want to do? You want to have an assign that should increment the player score. So I'm going to say player score, it's equals to player score plus 10. I hit save and that looks good. Control S to save. Additionally, if the player does not get the answer correctly, then I want to display log message and say incorrect answer. I'm going to set the log level to info and Control S to save again.